And we're live. There it is, boys. Workout number 3. Can you read it? Yeah, you can. Okay, so 3, 3, 3, 4 intervals. What the heck does that mean? That is 3 minutes of work, 1 minute of rest, 3 minutes of work, 1 minute of rest, 3 minutes of work, 1 minute of rest, 4 minutes of work. So it's a 3 on, 1 off for 4 intervals, but on the last interval, you have an extra minute to work. Okay, each round starts with a buy-in. That buy-in is 16 toes to bar, get out of there, 8 front squats, and then max calories on the assault bike. You can read there on the fine print. The objective in this workout, hey, quit walking around, it's getting your face. The objective is 100 calories, okay? If you do not hit the 100 calories, it's gonna be reps, okay? We'll explain that here in a minute, but all you need to know for now is 4 intervals, buy-in, toes to bar, and front squats. Objective is primarily on the bike. We'll get into some of those nuances here in a second. All right, let's walk through it. So go through standards. Toes to bar, very self-explanatory. Rep counts when your toes make contact with the bar. You need to start from a full hanging position. Your feet are behind the bar. Okay, that becomes more important as you're cycling through these reps, but pretty simple. Your feet touch the bar, you get the rep. Good rep, okay? You can come down, you can hang, you can split them up, whatever you need to do. Your toes touch the bar, the rep is good. Now, cycling through the reps, the biggest thing you cannot do is kind of have this really short, tight kip where you do not even pass the kind of vertical plane of the bar and bringing your feet back behind. Can you actually do that? So real short, right? So those do not count because he's not coming to full extension at the bottom of the rep, okay? Other than that, really the only thing that's gonna make a difference here if you getting credit for the rep or not is contact, toes to the bar.
Yeah, so already having judged Jeremy, the only time I had to no rep him is he got 1 foot to the bar, but the other foot was, 4 inches away. So you just have to make sure that it's at least, so a couple of them he would get like the top of his foot to the bar, so it wasn't necessarily his toes, that still counts because his toes were even past the bar. But if he only gets 1 touching and the other one not, then that's a no rep.
Yeah. So we'll just walk through it right now. This right here. The scaled variation of this movement is just a smaller range of motion, okay? So instead of toes to the bar, it's going to be knee above your hip, okay? So top position, knee passes. It's just like a squat. It's that same below parallel movement. Knee raises above your hip, bottom position, feet back behind the bar, okay? Pretty self-explanatory there. Same thing. The only real thing other than getting full extension at the bottom is not getting your knees up high enough, okay? You break those up, singles, whatever you gotta do to get through the 16 reps. For the front squat, the only difference is gonna be the load, okay? Prescribed loading is 135. What was the scaled loading?
95.
95 pounds for the scaled loading, okay? So bar's gonna be on the floor, gotta clean it up. If you wanna squat clean the first rep, that's completely fine. Hip below parallel, okay, we did that with the air squats last week. Full extension at the top. Really, the only thing that matters here is the bar's in the front rack position, okay? Not really a standard other than it being on the front of your shoulder. You can switch your grip up if you want to, cross the hands, just use the thumb, just your fingertips, whatever you want to do, as long as the bar is resting basically in front of your neck, okay? Those are going to count. Just squat mechanics, getting full depth below parallel and extension at the top, okay? So, each round.
You want to show some bad reps?
Sure, bad reps are the same bad reps as the air squats, not hitting depth, not hitting extension at the top. Okay, those are really just going to be the 2 things: hidden, shorten depth, shorten extension. Every round starts with those 2 movements, okay? So if you go through all 4 rounds, you're gonna do that 16 and 8 4 times, okay? Then you're gonna hop on the bike and you're gonna accumulate as many calories as possible in the remaining working window, okay? So you have 3 working windows of 3 minutes, a minute of rest in between all of those, and then the last working window is extended, so what was the rest time in between the other 3 is now additional work time on the last interval, okay? So you bike, great. As soon as the timer is up, you are taking your hands and feet off of the pedals, okay? Yep, it's gonna keep rolling, that's fine. The monitors will stay on the entire time through this workout, and you won't have to bother with that. Judges should probably still write it down just in case somebody hits a button and they weren't supposed to, whatever. Jotting it down once it comes to a rest is probably a good idea, okay?
And then you're just watching the time to make sure you see when it hits 100.
Yep. So that'll be the biggest thing is when they get, if and when they get close to 100 cals, you are watching the time on the clock, because if they do hit 100 cals, the score is time. For anybody who does not hit the 100 calories in that last interval, your score is going to be reps, and we're going to explain that here in just a second, okay?
Are they letting it, so like it stopped at 1.4?
What did you do this morning?
Yeah, whatever it stopped at on his last set.
Yeah. So we'll basically, as long as you are taking, judges just need to make sure that you're taking your hands and feet off of the bike. Wherever it settles, that's where it's going to be, okay? So there is not necessarily a minimum work requirement here, okay? Other than the fact that, hey, you got to be able to do that movement, right? If you literally can't do toe to bar, like, what are we doing here? Your score's going to be 0.
Or that.
Or the front squat. So we did a workout similar to this in the spring where people kind of gamed the buy-in and like sat out certain rounds, okay? So the way that we are going to de-incentivize that is these reps count towards your score, okay? So your score is not going to be calories out of 100, it's going to be reps out of 196, okay? So those 24 reps are counting to your total score, okay? So you absolutely can take those off one of the rounds. If you want to do round 1 and skip round 2 or whatever, that's on the table. However, if you do that and miraculously you get to 100 calories on interval 4, you are not done, okay? If you choose to skip any of these reps or you simply don't complete them in one of the rounds, but magically you hit 100 cals, okay? If you want a score for time, you will have the opportunity at the end of that to go back and complete any incomplete reps here. I really don't think this is gonna happen, but in the event that it does, and you do finish all 100 cals, great, you can go back here and finish all the work. Highly doubt anybody's gonna be in that situation, okay? I mean, I don't think there's anything else. Let's see if we got any live viewers with questions.
Yeah, I think the key is just going to be the squat, judging the squat, making sure they get depth, making sure they extend at the hip, at the top, and make sure they take their feet and hands off the bike when the clock hits the end time. Otherwise, it's pretty simple.
Yeah, so everybody's doing 196 reps here to get a time, unless you hit the 100 cals in the 3 intervals instead of the 4. That is basically the massive incentive in a workout like this. There is a goal of 100 cals, and if you finish that in the 3rd interval, you're done.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're at 99, you got to go do the...
Correct.
And do 1 cal in the 4th round.
Correct.
So.
And you have to do the 16 and 8 before getting back on the bike.
Yep.
All right, so let us know if you got any questions, boys.